The incredible journey from a single cell to a newborn baby is one of nature's most fascinating stories, and by the end of this exploration, you'll understand why each moment of this miraculous process is essential to creating a unique human being. A man produces hundreds of millions of spermatozoa, while a woman possesses eggs, also called ova, and these tiny cells hold the blueprint for life itself. Both spermatozoa and eggs contain 23 chromosomes each, which are remarkable structures that will determine everything about the future child. These chromosomes contain genes that carry all the characteristics of the future baby, including sex, body shape, and eye color. During fertilization, when the sperm meets the egg, each of these cells will contribute exactly half of the genetic heritage of the future baby. A spermatozoon has a nucleus that contains the 23 chromosomes, and in front of this nucleus are enzymes that serve to pierce the egg during fertilization. Behind the nucleus are the mitochondria that allow the flagellum to function, enabling the sperm to move forward and complete its remarkable journey. The woman has a stock of eggs in her two ovaries that will decrease over the years until around the age of 50. This depletion will mark the end of reproductive capability called menopause, when the woman can no longer become pregnant. But before that moment arrives, starting at puberty, an egg is ejected from the ovary into the fallopian tube 14 days after the start of menstruation. During this time, the uterus prepares to receive an embryo by developing blood vessels on its wall in anticipation of new life. In the fallopian tube during the next 24 hours, the egg must meet the spermatozoa or else it will disappear along with the blood vessels on the wall of the tube. This disappearance will result in menstruation, and this cycle restarts 14 days after menstruation and continues until menopause. If you're finding this journey through human reproduction fascinating, please take a moment to subscribe and activate the bell, because your support gives strength to this channel and helps us bring you more incredible content about the wonders of science and life. When the egg meets the spermatozoa, fertilization occurs, and out of approximately 300 to 500 million spermatozoa that head toward the egg, only a few hundred approach it. These surviving spermatozoa will release their enzymes, but only one will enter the egg successfully. Because after entry, the EG's membrane will block all entrances and prevent any other sperm from joining. This meeting will result 1 out of 4 attempts in the first cell of the baby with 46 chromosomes. It is called a zygote, and the single cell represents the very beginning of a new human life. This zygote divides in two to give 2 cells, and become an embryo, which itself divides the cells into hundreds inside. The developing embryo will arrive in the uterus, where it will remain for up to 9 months, growing and developing into a complete baby. All these cells multiply thanks to the chromosomes inside them, which are made up of a long molecule called DNA. This DNA, where the genes are attached, will open up, and the cell will manufacture the missing half identically. So these two reconstituted halves end up with chromosomes multiplied by 2, creating perfect copies of genetic information. The cell therefore divides in 2 identically, and the cells inside specialize to make the brain, blood, all the muscles, starting with the heart. After 1 month, the embryo is 5 millimeters long and has already begun its transformation into a recognizable human form. 2 weeks later, it measures almost 2 centimeters and the retina appears, while it has a big belly because its liver is already well developed. At 2 months, the 5 fingers of each hand are formed and the tiny embryo now has recognizable human features. At 3 months, the skeleton and all organs are in place, and we can now call it the fetus rather than an embryo. At 4 months, the baby can kick, move its fingers, and it already has nails and some hair covering its delicate skin. We can tell if it's a boy or a girl by examining the developing reproductive organs through ultrasound imaging. To nourish itself and receive oxygen, the baby achieves this through the placenta, a sac attached to the mother's uterus. At the top arrives the mother's blood, at the bottom the umbilical cord connected to the baby's belly. The baby draws from the mother's blood, but the two bloods do not mix because the placenta serves as a filter. During these 9 months, the baby is in amniotic fluid, which is a sterile fluid composed of 97% water. This amniotic fluid surrounds and protects the fetus and is essential for development. It cushions shocks, maintains temperature, and allows for fetal mobility and breathing. Its volume is constantly regulated, its renewal being mainly linked to sterile fetal urine that the baby produces. The baby is protected from all microbes while floating safely in this remarkable protective environment. Being a girl or a boy is determined by two chromosomes that look like letters, X for a girl and XY for a boy. This assembly happens when the spermatozoon meets the egg because this sperm carries either the X chromosome or the Y chromosome. The egg always carries the X chromosome, so it is the father's contribution that determines the baby's biological sex. At 6 months, the fetus hears, and its heart accelerates if it hears a sound from outside the womb. At 7 months, it becomes sensitive to light and can respond to brightness shining on the mother's belly. At birth, the average baby weighs 3.4 kilograms and measures 50 centimeters, ready to begin life outside the womb.